Let's go eat through Korea together. It's been a very long tradition of mine to have a Bloody Mary whenever I take a flight, but I think I've finally been priced out of drinking at the airport because what do you mean 26 bucks for a single Bloody Mary before tips and tax? You must be out of your mind. So I stuck with my tangerine. This was my first time taking Air Premium and I gotta say I'm very impressed with the legroom. I'm 5'11" and usually it's just a little tight. This is economy by the way. My round trip ticket from LAX to Korea was around 800 bucks, which is far cheaper than any other airline. And as a plus, I also ended up with the whole row to myself. Insane luck. For our first meal, my wife had the quintessential flight to Korea bibimbap with spinach, egg, ground beef, zucchini, carrots, gochujang, and sesame oil. A classic. It always makes me really feel like I'm going to Korea. And I got the shrimp pasta with tomatoes because I was curious, which wasn't bad, but definitely should have stuck with the bibimbap. The second meal was chicken, bok choy, and rice with a takdori tang-like sauce. Think sweet and spicy gochujang with a touch of sesame. This was good. 12 hours later, we arrived and we took a bus to our hotel. Our original plan was to take a taxi, but it was 125,000 won or about 85 bucks, so we got spooked into taking the bus instead. But it did take us straight to our hotel, which was nice. I used up all my points that I've collected for years to stay at the Grand Hyatt. This is the view from our room. Then we headed out to get dinner. I love that Korean restaurants have drawers on the sides of their tables for napkins and utensils, and there's no need to bother anyone. I had to put on a bib to make sure I didn't splatter any kimchi juice on me, and I got the kamjatang, which is a spicy pork backbone soup. I chose mild and it was still pretty spicy, but very good. It had some cabbage, ground perilla seeds, and the broth had lots of garlic, gochugaru, either fish sauce or salted shrimp, and the meat was melting off the bone. The kimchi and gakdugi or radish kimchi was also excellent. A perfect first meal in Korea. See you tomorrow. Day 2 in Korea. The fall foliage is so nice this time of year. I came to Korea last year and one of my favorite meals was at this place called Jojo Kalguksu in Seongsu. I believe they have another location as well, but this is the one I came to last time. It does seem like it might be for tourists since most of the clientele seem to be Chinese, Japanese, or Malaysian, but hey, good food is good food. The wait was about an hour since there were 56 parties in front of us. Yeah, 56. 56 parties can't be wrong. They only have 3 things on the menu, which is also a great sign that the food is going to be good. They've got Dongju Kalguksu, which are knife-cut noodles with a ton of clams and broth, Mulchong Chogetang, which translates to water gun clam soup, and finally Nakji Hemul Pajeon, which translates to octopus and seafood green onion pancake. I also got a little haircut and perm by Hera. Check her out if you're ever in Korea. Now what makes this place special is the kind of clams that they use. They are called Mulchong Choge, and I believe it's called that because they shoot water. But what I love about them is that when they are cooked, they hold some of that broth inside and they pop like a clam gusher when you bite into them. It's so freaking good. Plus all of this was 12,000 won, which is about 8 bucks. 8 bucks for like 50 clams. Try to get 50 clams in any dish in LA and it's gonna be $200. The clams are cooked in a broth with lots of green onions, chilies, and it's just the most clean oceany seafood flavor you can imagine. I could honestly eat this every day. And the pajeon is equally great. Lots of octopus, shrimp, and green onions. It's hot, crispy, perfect. And once again, the kimchi here is delicious as well. Here is the aftermath. Then we grabbed a latte at Stetch Coffee. Pretty layers, very good, not too sweet. Then grab sogumpang or salt bread at this famous spot. The line was long, but it goes really fast since they only sell one thing. I had it last year and it was super crispy and hot, which was amazing, but this time it was kind of lukewarm and soggy. Kind of meh, to be honest. Ate one, did some shopping, and ended the night with Korean fried chicken. We call chicken and beer chimek in Korea because Koreans love to combine words. Chi for chicken and mek for mekju. Mekju is beer, by the way. It was 27,000 won, or about 18 bucks for a set that came with yangnyeom chicken, regular fried chicken, and fruit. Not sure why it comes with fruit, but it was good. The chicken was crispy, hot, well seasoned, and the yangnyeom sauce was perfectly sweet and tangy. The base for yangnyeom sauce is usually a mix of ketchup, gochujang, garlic, and vinegar. This was just a place in Seongsu, but to be honest, fried chicken is good everywhere out here. I've eaten at so many and I'm never disappointed. Then we went home for the night. Good night. See you tomorrow. This is vlog number 3 of eating through Korea. I skipped lunch and spent the day editing a bit of content, and then we headed out to Incheon to grab a meal with my wife's family. This is their pup. He's so cute. We ended up having jibbap, which literally just translates to home food. The meal consisted of various banchan that they had prepared, like the soy and vinegar marinated green onion, sweet dried little shrimp, pagimchi or green onion kimchi, oi changachi or marinated cucumbers, fried shrimp, fried oysters, kim, and at my wife's request, mandu cheongol. Mandu is Korean for dumplings, and cheongol is basically just Korean style hot pot. They also made us miyeokguk or seaweed soup, which is usually made with seaweed, beef, and a touch of sesame oil. For Koreans, it is tradition to have miyeokguk when it's someone's birthday. We also drank some of this makgeolli. Makgeolli is a traditional Korean sparkling rice wine that's slightly sweet and tangy. After dinner, we headed out to grab dessert at one of my favorite places, Waffle Tehak, translated to Waffle University. We got some drinks, waffles with whipped cream and ice cream, and we noticed the straws are actually heart-shaped, which is a cute little touch. When we got back to Seoul, I headed out to Ulchiro, which is usually a popular area to drink, but it was pretty empty since it was late Sunday night. Met up with a few friends for soju and small bites. They gave us tripe, and I think this was liver. I don't know. I love tripe, but liver like this has never been my favorite. We ordered intestines, which they flambéed with soju, and let it get crispy before eating alongside with a healthy amount of soju. Honestly, the food was kind of mid, but we were mostly there to just drink and catch up anyways. For icha, or second round, we went to a odeng or fish cake spot to grab a few more drinks and a few more bites. This crispy octopus karaage was actually really good, and so were the fish cakes. The best part of eating odeng for me is drinking the sweet, slightly smoky, super hot broth, especially on a cold night. Then called a taxi at 2 a.m. and headed back to the hotel. See you tomorrow. Eating and drinking through Korea vlog number 4. We started our day off at Seongsu, which is a neighborhood known for shopping and lots of cool pop-ups. Our taxi driver said that if we were going to Seongsu, we had to eat at this kamjatang spot, so we went to check it out. This place also seems like it's made for tourists, but we decided to try it out anyways. The line was really long, but it did go very fast. I think we only waited about 20 minutes, which wasn't too bad. This place literally only sells one thing, kamjatang. I love it. The only thing you choose is the size of the shared pot. They set them down on this induction burner and you just dig in. Huge hunks of tender, long simmered pork bones, ugoji or wilted greens, and a boiling hot, porky, spicy broth. And of course served with different kinds of kimchi. I don't have much footage because I was told that they don't allow filming inside the restaurant, but here are a few shots that my friends got of them making fried rice with the leftover fatty, rich pork broth, perla leaves, seaweed, and sesame oil. The rice gets crispy on the bottom and it's so freaking good. After eating, I went to a convenience store to make myself a little banana milk coffee. I love how they sell these pre-packaged cups with ice and you can literally make whatever kind of coffee you want. I did a zero sugar sweetened Americano with banana milk. For dessert, the shop specializes in super soft fresh mochi wrapped fruits, and we all got golden kiwi since they were the best when we had them last year. Then we did some shopping and headed to dinner. For dinner, we went to a samgyeopsal or pork belly restaurant in Itaewon near our hotel called Pig Restaurant 2. They gave us a dipping sauce that was sweet, tangy, and had some steamed bean sprouts, alongside with the traditional accoutrements like samjang and seojut or salted shrimp, some more kimchi, pickled radish, and myeonginna물, which was marinated, and it tasted like an oniony garlicky leaf. Very good. The owner was super friendly and guided us basically through every bite while cooking for us, and I honestly didn't even have time to think because the food was being cooked so fast and he was giving us so many different combinations for each bite. We got many different cuts of pork like belly, shoulder, skirt, and for each cut he had a different sauce, wrap, and condiment that it almost made me feel like I was having a course meal. And of course we had to have soju. Lots of soju. We decided to go with Sero soju, which is a zero sugar soju. You gotta cut calories somewhere. What I love most about soju is because of its lower alcohol content, you can take a lot more shots. And taking shots with everyone just feels like a celebration. The owner also brought us out a cut of beef that he said we had to try, which confused us because there was no beef on the menu. We joked that he must have packed it for his own dinner and ended up giving it to us. He also brought us out this hot bowl of noodles that was also very good and perfect with how cold it was outside. This is my favorite way of eating. Communal, warm, great company, great food. Slightly or slightly more than slightly inebriated, these are my favorite moments. After our meal, there was another waffle tehak outside, so we got a few more of those while being absolute menaces outside. And with the soju still warming up our bodies, we hung outside a bit longer, catching up, dancing, laughing, and ended the night taking photos in one of these photo boxes that are on every corner here in Korea. See you tomorrow. Welcome back to Eating and Drinking Through Korea vlog number 5. I was slightly hungover from the night before, so we started our day with lunch at Loteria, which is basically Korea's McDonald's. I got one of these long mozzarella sticks, which was perfectly melted and stringy, and they also have these shaken seasoned fries with a few different flavors, and I chose the cheese one because it sounded real good, but it was so sweet. This one was a mistake. I got the mozzarella in the burger with bacon, and it looked very good. I will say all the fast food in Korea tend to look like the photos, which is pretty cool. The meat was pretty tiny and doesn't have much flavor, but the fried mozzarella patty was excellent. I don't know what they do to their mozzarella, but it consistently has a great cheese pool. Overall decent. I also got the Seoul burger or shrimp burger, which is a nice crispy fried panko crusted shrimp patty that's mildly sweet, and while the whole thing was pretty good, it was a bit on the dry side. I wish they upped the amount of sauce. Still crushed it though. After meal beverage was a asakchu from Tusum Place. Asakchu is sweetened peach iced tea with shots of espresso. It's excellent. Love it. For dinner, we headed to Mangwon-dong Shijang. Shijangs are outdoor public markets. Our friend wanted to show us around their neighborhood and basically took us on a tteokbokki tour. There were so many stalls of deep fried food and tteokbokki, and almost all of them had signs that said that they were famous, so take it with a grain of salt. But we did stop by this stall, and I gotta admit, it's pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of tteokbokki, but the sauce was sweet, not too spicy, perfect consistency, and the tteok was pillow-like with a gentle chew. My personal favorite thing to eat with tteokbokki sauce is fried kimmari, which is just tangmyeon or glass noodles rolled in seaweed, battered, and fried. I love the textural contrast with the sweet and spicy gochujang based sauce. Then we ended up at this super small local spot that only had 4 tables and ordered more tteokbokki. This place was cool because you could kind of build your own pot with whatever items you like. Ours had pork belly, quail eggs, cabbage, tiny sausages, perla leaves, dumplings, and fish cakes. Also obligatory more beer and soju. We also ended up adding ramen noodles and glass noodles. Stuffed ourselves full, grabbed some ice cream, and headed home. See you tomorrow. This is what I ate and drank in Korea number 6. I met up with my uncle and we wanted to eat chokbal, which is pig's feet. I always have to try all the kimchi and banchan to make sure we came to a good place. The kimchi that they served here was more of a kotjeori, which is fresh kimchi, meaning that the cabbage is still crisp and there is no fermentation. It's honestly more of a salad than a full-on kimchi. And this is the chokbal. We ordered it 2 ways. One is the classic, which is just boiled in a nice and flavorful liquid, and the yangnyeom chokbal, which is brushed or tossed in a sweet and spicy gochujang marinade and either torched or finished in the oven. If you've ever had chokbal or pig's feet before, It's a wonderful mix of textures. Gelatinous, fatty, but also with a good amount of meat that is a fantastic porky mix of textures. It's really good in a lettuce wrap with dressed puchu or garlic chives, kimchi, samjang, or seoja, aka salted shrimp. And you can't forget raw garlic. I freaking love raw garlic. We also ordered chengbang guksu, which are cold noodles tossed in a tangy and gently spicy gochujang sauce with lots of fresh, raw, sliced vegetables like cabbage, carrots, bean sprouts that give it a nice crisp texture. One thing about me is if there are cold noodles of any kind on the menu, I'm ordering it. I also really enjoy Korean food like this because it's always got a multitude of sauces and accoutrements, so you can make each bite taste totally different depending on how you're feeling. Sometimes I want the sharpness of raw garlic, while other times I want a more herbaceous bite, so I'll add more puchu or some kimchi if I want a hit of acidity. Makes it fun and so I never get bored. We also ordered this muksabal, which is an acorn jelly in a bright cold acidic broth, kimchi, and seaweed. It's usually eaten in the summer because it's a great way to cool you down in the heat. For dinner, we got taechang and gopjang, large intestines and small intestines. I know it looks and sounds crazy, but it's so freaking good. Probably one of my favorite things to eat, especially when it's quality. There are usually two ways that intestines are cooked and served. One is this way, which is on a hot plate so that it essentially fries in its own fat and gets crispy. The other way is, well, you'll see in my next videos. The fat drips down from the intestines and helps cook the vegetables, rice cakes, and garlic. The large intestines are usually marinated in a sweet garlicky soy that's similar or maybe the same as a kalbi marinade. It's fatty, crispy, sweet, salty, ugh, just so good. Then we ordered fried rice, which uses the fat that's left on the skillet and combined with gochujang, veg, seaweed, and once it's crispy on the bottom, ready to eat. And after dinner, dessert was yeowajang, which is a popular froyo spot. We got honeycomb and grapefruit, and it was excellent. Very tart, which I love. Then we stopped by the convenience store, picked up some beer, soju, and a bunch of snacks. This is somek. Like I've said before, Koreans just love combining words together. The so is for soju and mek is for mekju. Mekju being beer. We got baked eggs because my sister-in-law is obsessed with eggs. Weirdo. Eating eggs on vacation is serial killer behavior. Peeled it and yeah, it's an egg. You couldn't miss me with that. They sell hot roasted sweet potatoes, so we got one of those. It's good, but to be honest, I don't really crave sweet potatoes when I'm drinking. These are buttered grilled squid flavored chips, and these are the good. Fantastic drinking snack. We also got these dried squid, which is a very traditional old people drinking snack. My jaw wouldn't let me have more than one of these. Tastes great, but hurts my jaw. I also got chipo, which is a dried fish that's been pressed down. It's usually a little salty and a little sweet. This was a mistake though. It's pretty terrible when it's not grilled or toasted, and a little charred. I wouldn't recommend it this way. This dried butter roasted squid was great. Then we have moktaegang, which is a dried fish flavored chip, and this one is a gochujang and mayo flavor. Then we got tipsy, joked around, and went to bed. See you tomorrow. This place is called Shigol Papsang, which literally translates to countryside dining table. The interior had old school Korean charm with only a few tables, some of which you had to sit on the ground to eat. Unfortunately, my Korean American knees and back cannot handle that, so we chose to sit at a table. They handed us a menu on this giant wooden spoon, which was dope, but then they gave us an actual menu. The menu was pretty small, and if you order the set menu, you get a ton of banchan or side dishes. They just load the table up. I'll do my best to break down what they were. There were some sauteed mushrooms, dried seaweed, wilted bean sprouts with gochugaru, marinated perilla leaves, dried anchovies, tofu, acorn jelly with a soy vinaigrette, marinated cockles, dressed dried squid, steamed ferns, potatoes, I don't remember, dried radishes, sesame glass noodles, marinated quail eggs, fish cakes, shishito peppers. Oh, and then our doenjang came out. And of course, kimchi, zucchini, broccoli, green onions, cucumbers, and spinach. A lot going on. We also ordered cheukbokum, which is a sweet and spicy marinated pork dish made with gochujang and sesame oil as the base of the sauce. So good. Oh, and of course, keranjim, which is steamed egg. The idea is that you just eat a little bit of banchan with your rice and soup, and every bite is a little bit different depending on what you put in your bowl or on your spoon. It's very healthy, and it's how a lot of Korean people eat at home. Just a simple soup or stew, rice, and whatever banchan you happen to have in your fridge. We also got grilled kalchi, which is beltfish. My wife and sister-in-law love it, and they have the technique down to easily eat it, but honestly, I'm just too lazy to pick through bones, so I just focused on my pork and rice. This isn't your average rotisserie chicken. This was one of my favorite meals in Korea, especially because this is something you can't find in LA. The restaurant is called Wangsimli Nurungji Tongdak. Wangsimli is the area that it's located, Nurungji is crispy toasted rice, and Tongdak is whole chicken. The chicken is cooked over wood fire, which gives it a nice smokiness, but that's not what makes this special. The chickens are also stuffed with rice and a few other ingredients like jujubes that soaks up the chicken juices and fat as they cook over the wood fire, resulting in an extremely flavorful rice. Then they smash the chickens down and it comes out on these super hot stone pans which crisp up the rice as it sits. It's absolute genius. Look at how beautifully crispy and golden brown that is. The chicken is tender, basically falls apart, and it comes out intensely hot and stays hot because of the stone pan. It was pretty cold outside, but the food did a good job warming us up immediately. And this kind of food should always be eaten with a cold, crisp beer. A perfect combination. We also ordered this ramyeon because we thought it would be perfect with the cold weather. I am also a sucker for chicken cartilage, and I know that sounds crazy, but I just really love the texture of it. It's got a nice little crunch. And this was basically chicken cartilage puldak with mozzarella cheese. It's smoky, sweet, salty, and cheesy. How can you go wrong? It's so freaking good. Take me back to Korea. I want this again so bad. I spent my 36th birthday in Korea this year. Can't believe I'm 36. We started our night by getting Korean fried chicken before we devolved into degeneracy. We got some rosé tteokbokki, which is rice and fish cakes in a gochujang and cream-based sauce. It's sweet, spicy, gently smoky, and it's delicious. We also got the classic hot fried chicken, wonderfully crispy and perfectly seasoned. I freaking love Korean fried chicken. I believe this is called onion snow fried chicken or something like that. It's almost like a sweet coleslaw dressing with thinly shaved onions that must have been washed since the onions themselves didn't have that raw harshness and was also very sweet. Sounds weird, but it's a very good combination. We got these cheese balls and I tried showing off the cheese bowl, but that didn't work out. And then the soju drinking began. These are called sankehwan, and they are these little jelly packets that you're supposed to eat before you start drinking. They're supposed to help prevent or make your hangovers not as bad. We ate some chicken, but honestly, we drink a lot more than we ate.
Dude, that guy literally projectile vomited.
I hated that so
I actually want to throw up.
In Korean, we tend to eat and drink at multiple places throughout the night, so we count them as chas or rounds. 1차 is first round and 2차 is second round. So for 2차, we ended up at Chongro Samga, which is known for the restaurants and bars that spill out onto the street. There are tons of pochas or Korean bars around here, and they were all packed, so we just chose whichever one had available seats. They got me an ice cream cake from Baskin-Robbins, which by the way, Baskin-Robbins in Korea is 85,000 times better than in the States. It's actually crazy how much of a difference there is. We got some odengtang, which is fish cakes in broth, a staple drinking food in Korea, crispy fried squid, which is excellent, and of course more soju. I kind of stopped recording from here on because, well, because you know why. Had a few more bottles and we ended the night off by walking around the streets and then had a few more bottles at karaoke. If you know me, you know that I absolutely love karaoke. We drank, we sang, we danced, and then we headed back home. Happy birthday to me. If you've been following along on my Korea trip, you know that I've been shoveling food and soju into my face, and at this point I was definitely feeling it and also definitely starting to show it. I think at this point I gained probably 15 pounds and it had only been a week and some change. Needless to say, I was starting to feel pretty nasty. Anyways, here's more of what I ate on my weekend in Busan. We headed to Seoul Station early in the morning to take the train to Busan, and while we waited, we got Lotteria. I shoved a bulgogi burger in my face, sat on the train for 3 hours, and got our first Busan meal. I was still a bit hungover from my birthday, so we got twejikukbap, which is one of the signature dishes of Busan. It's a rich porky broth with fatty pieces of long stewed pork, and this one had intestines as well. Intestines can sometimes have a bit of a strong smell or flavor, but this didn't have any of that. It was super clean and melted in my mouth. I added some of this red paste, which is called tadegi. It's usually a mix of gochugaru or Korean chili flakes, garlic, green onion or onion, and sometimes ginger. It can vary depending on who makes it, but it's usually provided if you eat any soups in Korean cuisine to spice it up. Perfect for my hangover. For dinner, we ended up at this hole in the wall in the fish marketplace where we were the only people under 50 years old. The worker actually asked us how the hell we ended up coming to that place. A fish that I don't think many non-locals know about is a fish that goes by shulgajami or ishigari or rough scale sole. It's gently sweet, mellow, and the season is in the fall and winter when the waters are cold. But what was really interesting was the way that it was sliced. Usually hue, like sashimi, is just the flesh of the fish, thinly sliced, but for this fish, they slice it through the bones so that they're kind of crunchy. The bones aren't sharp since they've been cut short, but it's a wild texture, kind of like chicken cartilage, which I usually love. But while the fish itself was delicious, I have to admit, I wasn't personally a fan of straight fish bone like this. I can see the lure for some people, but personally, it's not my jam. Hue also make a soup with all the leftover bones to serve you a spicy fish stew at the end of your meal. This was delicious. On our second day, I started off with hotteok, which is a yeast risen dough that is filled with brown sugar and cinnamon, cooked on the griddle, and this one actually had mozzarella cheese in it, which sounds kind of weird, but it's very good. Busan is an oceanside town, so it's also known for its amazing seafood. And there's no better way to experience seafood than having it raw. This place is called Mipojip, and it's famous for their raw seafood platter. It came with marinated salmon, shrimp, octopus, abalone, scallops, and kanjangkejang. Kanjangkejang being soy marinated crabs. We also ordered a side of yangnyeomkejang, which is crab that's been marinated in a sweet, spicy garlic marinade, eaten with a side of hot white rice. All the seafood was extremely fresh, sweet, and great, wrapped in a bit of crispy dried and roasted seaweed. For dinner, we had hue or sliced raw fish, Korean style beef tartare, which for some reason had American cheese, not sure what that's about, and ended it with some seafood ramen that was spruced up with a bit of crab and shrimp. Then we took a final view of the city before we headed home.